Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's Thursday. Today, the storm at sea. Acts chapter 27, starting at verse 13. When a light wind began blowing from the south, the sailors thought they could make it. So they pulled up anchor and sailed close to the shore of Crete. But the weather changed abruptly, and the wind of typhoon strength, called a nor'easter, burst across the island and blew us out to sea. The sailors couldn't turn the ship into the wind, so they gave up and let it run before the gale. We sailed along the sheltered side of a small island named Kuda, where with great difficulty we hoisted aboard the lifeboat being towed beside us. Then the sailors bound ropes around the hull of the ship to strengthen it. They were afraid of being driven across the sandbars of Syrtis off the African coast, so they lowered the sea anchor to slow the ship and were driven before the wind. The next day, as gale-force winds continued to batter the ship, the crew began throwing the cargo overboard. The following day, they even took some of the ship's gear and threw it overboard. The terrible storm raged for many days, blotting out the sun and the stars until at last all hope was gone. No one had eaten for a long time. Finally, Paul called the crew together and said, "Men, you should have listened to me in the first place and not left Crete. You would have avoided all this damage and loss. But take courage. None of you will lose your lives, even though the ship will go down. For last night an angel of God, to whom I belong and whom I serve, stood beside me, and he said, 'Don't be afraid, Paul, for you will surely stand trial before Caesar. What's more, God, in his goodness, has granted safety to everyone sailing with you. So take courage, for I believe God. It will be just as he said, but we will be shipwrecked on an island.'" Now a commentary. Binding ropes around the hull of the ship meant passing ropes under the ship to hold it together. Syrtis was on the northern coast of Africa. Why would Paul talk to the crew this way? Paul was not taunting them with a "I told you so," but was reminding them that with God's guidance, and he predicted this very problem, Acts chapter 27, verse 10, in the future they listened to him, Acts chapter 27, verse 30 to 32, and their lives were spared because of it. It's kind of like Jonah, when he was on a ship trying to run away from God, and it was going through basically the same thing, and they were he told them to throw him overboard,
Right.
and they did, and God was trying to tell these guys through Paul, don't go this way.
Right.
There's trouble. Don't do it. And they wouldn't listen, and now they had to pay for it.
I just think about how many times in our own lives
Yeah.
it's the same situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's trying to tell us, don't go there. You're going to have problems. I'm trying to tell you. And yet we do it anyway, and guess what? We have problems.
Right.
Yeah. If only our foresight and listening was as good as our hindsight.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we have for today. Hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.